So these next couple examples are situations where we have equations that are not in any particular form, and so probably the best thing to do would be to get them to slope-intercept form, and then we can do what we did in the last few examples. So here, what I want to do is isolate the y, so I want to add 3 to both sides. And so I'll get y equals 5/4 x plus 7. All right, and then I can, from there, identify the slope, 5/4, and the y-intercept is going to be 7. So I can plot a point at 7, or 0, 7, right? And then the slope is 5/4, so I can go up 4, or excuse me, up 5 and right 4, or I can go down and left. So here, if I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd be off the graph here, right? So it'd probably be better to go down and left. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and left 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my point. All right, and there's the line. A little bit off there. So usually when that happens, I'll just make my point a little bit bigger to get through. Make sure I catch that line. All right, and so remember, just to go back to what we just mentioned, for a positive slope, remember that you can go up and right, or you can go down and left. Okay, and for a negative slope, you can go down and right, or up and left. All right, and that has to do with just the signs, like up and right would be positive over positive, right? Which would be a positive, positive divided by positive is a positive, whereas down and left would be a negative divided by negative, and that would also equal positive, right? And so with the negative slope, down would be negative, right would be positive, up would be positive, left would be negative. So in both those cases, you're dividing with different signs, right? Negative over a positive, or a positive over negative. In those cases, you end up with a negative. All right, here's another example. So it's not in any particular form. It's almost in standard form, right? If we multiply by -1, we could have this in standard form. So this might be one we come back to and do in standard form later. But if I want to use the slope and the y-intercept, I want to get it to slope-intercept form. So what I'm going to do is add 3x to both sides. So ultimately, I want to get y by itself. So then we end up with -8y equals 3x minus 48. So then I'm going to divide everything by -8. And this will isolate the y. So -3/8x plus 6, right? -48 divided by -8 is +6. So now I can see the slope is -3/8. I can see that the y-intercept is +6. So I can plot the y-intercept, and then I can use the slope to find the next point. So -3/8. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, usually meant to make that green. There we go. And then just connect the dots. All right, don't forget the arrowheads on the end. So that's our line. So get in slope-intercept form, identify the slope and the y-intercept, plot the y-intercept, and use the slope to find the next point, and then connect the dots.